Let's try again and make a spring-loaded lathe center. This is part 2 of my quest to make a spring-loaded center. If you haven't seen part 1, you are not allowed to watch part 2. And I will be enforcing this very strict rule, so you better watch it, buddy. Link over there. In the previous video I screwed up when the center pin galled up inside the bore and got completely stuck. I had to cut the workpiece in two to get things free again. This changes my original plan a bit, but I still think I can save the part. Although I will have to redo some of the work I've already done and make a few changes. But it should or could still work, I think. Let's start with drilling the hole a little deeper, so the spring will sit deeper and I can fit a longer center pin. I think I lost about 4 centimeters here when I had to cut the workpiece in half. I've taken some measurements and I can safely drill 1.5 centimeter deeper before I'm breaking through the bottom of the taper. And that's what the electrical tape is for. The minimum wall thickness of the taper will be about 1.5 millimeter, and I think that's more than enough, especially since it's very close to the end of the small side of the taper. Besides, this taper doesn't take much of a radial load like a drill chuck hopper. 11.5 millimeter. Here we go. Now let's install the 12 millimeter reamer. I don't want to ream the last 2.5 centimeters to 12 millimeter, because that's where the spring is going to sit. And that's also why I have that red electrical tape. Alright, I think I'm ready. Here we go. A bit slower. Wonderful! Another step done. If I could keep this up without making mistakes, I'll have this spring-loaded center finished in no time. Next step, cleaning up the idiot marks from the previous video. I think that should do it. Now I could clean up this gold colored surface from when I heated up the part, but I like to keep it as a reminder of my mistake. Next I'm going to see if I can still save that pin I turned between centers that fits this bore. Who knows, maybe I can still reuse it. That would save a lot of time. Whoa! That's a goner. I win! Well, that doesn't look too bad. There's some galling in this area. And maybe over here a bit. But that should polish out. And this will still be usable. But I was thinking the same after I hammered out that cross drilling spindle. And that didn't work out. Let's do a little polishing. There's a bit of a groove. Before I start test fitting again, I think I should polish the bore of the taper. It is pretty rough. This is a 540 grit sandpaper. That helped a little, but it is still pretty rough. It looks like there are cracks in the surface finish, where all kinds of gunk can hide, waiting to lock things up again. Well, not much I can do about that. I gotta move on. So let's test fit. A little bit of anti-seize. Last time I used WD-40, and we all know how that ended. Here we go. Ah. Does it pop? Yes, it does. Lovely. This is not bad, but it is still rather tight. It seems to be binding up, and I'm not sure if it is on the front or on the rear. Probably on the rear. Let's put in the spring, if I can find it. Ah, there it is. Still rubbing a bit. Well, it's not sliding easy. There's room for improvement. Huh. Well, that spring definitely isn't as strong as I thought it would be. If I push far enough and give it a little twist, I can get it to lock up. I'm not sure if that's the unreamed part of the hole where the spring is sitting. And when I push it this far, this deep, there seems to be no play side to side. At this depth there's definitely little play. I don't think it will seize up anymore. Well, the next step is shortening this. Let's take a couple of measurements. 12, 21 and a bit. 12, 20. 12, almost 18. 12, 18, maybe a little less. 12, 18 and a half. 12, almost 20. 12, a bit more than 20. 12, 21 and a half. 12, 22 and a bit. 12, 23. Well, that's quite a variety. I'm going to polish down this a bit, see if I can get it closer to the rest of the rod, because I might need to use it. I'm going to turn down this end because the center point in there is a little on the big side. A little rougher than I like. Okay. 21, 21, 20, 18 and a half. I would say 19.6. Well, that has to be good enough. I'm not going to measure it again, because if I have taken off too much, I won't be adding it again. Let's see if it also fits from the other side, because one side of this rod is going to be the center hole and the other end is going to be the center point. That's looking good. I don't feel any side-to-side play, and that's also pretty good. Nice. I moved to the Chinese lathe where I have a 4-jaw chuck, and I'm getting ready to shorten this a little bit and turn a pointy bit. For now the winter has moved on. It is at least 8 degrees today. Although now we have some stormy weather. You might hear the barn doors rattling in the wind. But the doors are at least 6 meters away from the camera. I don't know if it will pick it up. Alright, let's get this done so I can leave this drafty old barn. Sounds like we could use some lube. the outside must be harder than the inside. It sure sounds that way. Maybe it's the insert. I'll switch to another one. I got a brand new insert, and I recently bought this box from Banggood, and I've been meaning to try them out anyway. When I held this tool bit against the light, I could see a little bit of light coming through underneath the insert. After filing the pocket and cleaning off a little rust that was on the tapered part of the screw head, it now sits very nicely. Hopefully it also cuts nicely. It sounds better. The center hole is gone, and the tool bit seems to be on center height. So now I'm going to lock the carriage and start cutting a pointy bit. Yeah, feels good. The last thing I need to do on this side is turn this down a bit to make a shoulder where the spring is going to sit. I don't know, maybe I should make this a little shorter. Good enough. And there is enough room left to recut the pointy bit. The outer layer got rolled over. Ah, there it is. Let's test fit again and find out how much I need to shorten the other side. I'm not taking any risk, so I'm adding a little loop. This is how far it will go in, and then it starts to feel that it might bind up. It creates a nice vacuum. So it doesn't look like I need to remove much, maybe half a centimeter. Looks like the tool bit is a hair too low, but I'll knock that off with my diamond hone, and then it's time to drill a center hole. This is my smallest center drill. It's never been used before, so I expect it will drill a hole. Although I'm not completely sure that the angle of a center drill is the same as the angle on the back of those small tabs. So if this doesn't work, or if the hole gets damaged after using it a few times, I might need to revisit this. But for now it will have to do. I think that's deep enough, although I have a hard time telling it is. Well, that looks promising. Now I'm going to drill a hole in the side here for a set screw, or a thumb screw made from brass. This would be so much easier if I had a cross drilling jig. I've modified this V-block, and that should make things a little easier, although I'm not sure if I'm exactly drilling in the middle of the workpiece. Here we go. That rattling noise is new. Whatever. I found this little piece of brass. Let's try and make a thumb screw. Well, that could be better. It's good enough. Seven and a half millimeter. I need to turn it down to 5. 7, almost 8. I need it to be 6.5 ish. This next step, the knurling, makes me a bit nervous. The jaws might let go of the workpiece. I don't know. Well, there is a little bit of knurling. Maybe I should take it and leave it alone. Sounds like it moved a bit. Well, I'm not going to screw it up any further. I'll take it. Yeah, let's test fit. Well, it looks a little silly in this way, but it's only to keep things together. Looks like I need to shorten it a little bit. There's at least a millimeter extra play there. And of course the thread is terribly sloppy again, just as usual. Well, this is only to keep things together when not in use. It does look a little weird like this, so let's turn it down. And that should give me an opportunity to test this creation of mine. I don't know if I can do this with the camera in the way, but I'll try. Sorry. I'm reaching over the camera to turn the pulley. It's rather awkward. Well, you get the idea, and it seems to be working. Let's turn down the thumb screw. Although at this point it is looking more like a nub. Damn it! Let go! Bastard. Well, I'll admit it's my first ever thumb screw. It will have to do for now. I could turn it down and redo the knurling, but I don't feel like doing that. This project has been dragging on for days and days, so this is where I stop. The next problem, getting it out again. With my luck, I will need to drill it out. No, that's not going to happen. Maybe use a little protection. Sorry. Let's test again, but this time with the pointy bit and a 10mm tab. Probably helps if you lock the tilster. Here we go. This way you definitely don't have the feel which you otherwise have. I don't like it. It doesn't feel right. People always say I should break the chip, but the amount of force needed for that worries me. Well, this is where I stop. The guide seems to work fine. I just don't like it. I don't have the feel for this. Well, that's it for me. And till next time. This feels so much more natural. But maybe with a little practice I can start to like that tapping guide as well. At least it is good for starting a tap on the lathe. Done. Oops.